Hello, it's Alchemist here returning from the tower. It's been a long time, but I had to take a break from D2 as a whole. Now I make my return as I see the state of the game, and I know I'm late, but I want to process my thoughts in a more proper manner. I'm going to take a slice into the bits of articles that I believe are important and give my opinions nice and simple. For ritual updates, they added a method to farm for their 9 weekly challenges in any playlist that the player likes. Personally, I saw this coming as Bungie's mantra of play how you would like has been touted for months now. Players are worried about how this will affect the playtime of lesser game modes. This is involving Gambit, but let's be fair, not even Bungie cares about that game mode as much as we hoped. We can cover about that later in the article, however. As for the new ritual weapons, we are getting the Unending Tempest Stasis Submachine Gun in Crucible, the Luna Regolith Third Solar Sniper Rifle in Strikes, the Quazafon V Void Machine Gun in Gambit, and the Cafract GL3 Strength Grenade Launcher in Trials of Osiris. Now, I don't know why we're getting another Void Machine Gun for Gambit when Commemoration and Retrofit Escapade exist, but hey, it is what it is. Next up is PvP, and for you guys, you get a multiplex map and 2 new game modes. Relics is about getting kills and charging yourself until you get a relic. Seems overly chaotic, but we can see how this plays out. And the next is Checkmate, which is more promising of the two, focusing on gun-based gameplay, rewarding skill and consistency with cooldowns lengthened and long-range TTK options ringered in for more enhanced engagement experiences. On top of that, we're getting a strand aggressive pulse rifle in Iron Banner. I believe these overall benefits to be great for the game, however, they're dragged down by the fact that Bungie states that the overall lack of content that has been happening for years is due to the fact that they need to satiate PvE, and they list an example of an exotic story mission being potentially shelved for the potential of PvP content. Now, as a player who mainly plays PvE, around 95% of my playtime goes into it. We're doing just fine, and in the article you state one of your main playlists have a healthy population involved with it. I don't mind losing one story mission that'll have limited shelf life if it means that there's fresh content and additions that make PvP lively enough to entice me to continue playing. The reason you have a strong dedicated PvP player base is because that there's nothing like it in any other game. Use some of that PvE bloat to make an experience that's meant to supplement the season with higher replayability. For Vanguard, they're adding Vanguard medals, which share similarities with the Guardian Games medals. They're using it to encourage players to not hyper-optimize into builds, however, they've connected surges into the interaction of medals. To me, it seems very counterproductive, especially when they say that they don't want us to compromise our builds for a better score, but we'll see how this goes. Next up is Gambit, and I have to be honest, it's not looking too good. All Gambit gets is a reprised map, Cathedral of Scars, and some promise of Shadow Legion and Lucent Hive showing up down the line. They justify this by saying that the Gambit rework did little to boost numbers involving Gambit. However, if they added loot that was worth it, people wouldn't hesitate to play the game mode. It's not a bad game mode at all despite the public opinion, it just needs work done to it to make it proper. In Season 19, they added a sniper that literally no one wants. Then last season, they included nostalgia bait in the form of the Trust hand cannon. This season, they added Laser Painter, a strand linear fusion rifle that at its best gets outpaced by the Taipan, a craftable linear fusion rifle that they literally give you for free, and then next season, they're going to provide us with a machine gun in the Void category where it has to compete with the best machine guns in the game, Commemoration and Retrofit Escapade. Bungie makes it especially hard for you to care about Gambit rather than trying to remake the system completely, in which it's beneficial to do so because there are systems that need fixing, especially the invade system. But we need a decent reason to farm for the things that we want, and I think that the weapon offerings for Gambit are actually horrible and contribute to the avolition of the game in general. The last thing I want to cover in this article is the armor set rewards. They say that delivering the ritual armor set rewards have become harder to complete, and that is not only because of their low adoption rates, but because of how often they do it throughout their changes. They will no longer look into creating one more every expansion, which, to be honest, I continue to look at the ritual armor sets, and I believe that they look objectively horrible and tacky. I will not be missing any of those sets anytime soon, present or future, and I wish that Bungie would take more of their efforts into making sets that are good and as effective as the premium Eververse options that they output consistently. But overall, Destiny 2 feels like the One Piece of the shooter genre. It's gone on for so long that it leaves its new consumers to dust, and the people who are within it are consuming it are waiting for that grand conclusion. But unlike One Piece, what has really been bothering me about Destiny 2 is that its successes and failures have become routine. This is not the first time we've gotten really mad at a state of the game, and I bet you it won't be the last. With there being little room for Bungie surprises that they have for their audience, in essence, the game feels like playing a blur to me, even with friends and family. I haven't gotten to feel those highlights that I believe that Bungie is capable of in a long time, and I bet the community has felt the peak of this overall.